Hello and welcome to Chez Zasaa, and this time it's a Zasaa Unzipped. And what that means is that it's a topic that some people, not necessarily us, but some people might think is a little controversial. So today I have my unzipped full-time member, Wonu, who you all know, and I've got Lanre, who actually hasn't been on enough, but would be a full-time unzipped if he was
probably the
on.
most
He's the most
unzipped
unzipped person
Yes.
that there is. Yeah. So he is. Yeah. So you are an unzipped so and so. Even if you don't know what that means.
I plead the fifth.
Yes, fully
So-
unzipped.
Fully unzipped. Yes. So today, guys, I wanted to talk about a statement that I heard someone make on TV. And basically, it was after the murder. A woman had been murdered by her husband, and they were interviewing someone. I don't know who the person was, but it was someone of authority. And she said, at the end of, she said a whole lot of stuff. And at the end of her thing, she said, it just goes to show that you're only as safe as the man in your life will allow you to be. And I literally went, whoa. Pause, rewind, and then I wrote it down because I could not believe it hit me really hard. So I want us to talk about that. Are we only, and I keep saying it doesn't necessarily have to be safe. It could be anything else. But are we only as, and I know Lanre is a man. It's okay. He has
After my
are we only as safe as or are we only as whatever as the man in our lives allows us to be? I even struggle with that allows. I struggle with so many things in that statement.
I mean, we struggle with it, but isn't it the truth? It's not a nice narrative. It's not a nice thing to even try to understand or accept. But it does not negate the fact that it's the truth.
Well, I think the reason why I said whoa and I stopped and rewound is because I thought that hit. As in it really hit, because I felt like whilst you don't, we've called this Who's Got the Power. Don't know why we called it that. I just liked it. But you know what I mean? It's like in a relationship. So if we're talking in this case, it's a spousal relationship. Are we only, we say this thing, women are equal. Okay, Larry, come in.
No, I can listen as well. We're not all talking.
Yeah, women are equal.
We say we're equal, but we're different. We're created equal, but different, right?
Yes.
But the reality for us as women, we know is that equality doesn't it doesn't show. I don't know where it shows that we're equal.
I mean, like when you're making decisions, maybe, or you're making decisions, say, for the house.
But you see, okay, if we come back to safety, you're only as safe as. I can almost understand that there's an element of where we feel like the man is maybe the stronger, the one that protects, the one that.
Is that a feeling or is that the truth?
No. As in, potentially, it is the truth as well. Not in every relationship, we're generalizing.
Okay,
but you generally
Say
you think that the man.
90%.
When you have a man, like Wale used to get angry with me when we were walking down, and I'll be like, what? He'll be like, have you seen me? Like, why are you even concerned that there's somebody else got a big black man walking down the street? But obviously I didn't see him as a big black man walking down the street.
He was just your husband.
He's just my husband. So I'm like, we need to. He's like, come on, as if.
I can take him. No, you actually can't.
Yeah, So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Your statement is very true and it's very scary. We are literally only as safe as a man in our lives allows us to be. Thank God we have great men in our lives that, are, amazing human beings that we can be safe with. But really, when you strip it to the bare bones of that statement, it's fact. It's not a narrative that you want to sort of adhere to in 2024 or you even want to hear in 2024 because, we're a progressive society. We've come on in leaps and bounds since the 1920s or whatever when that was more prevalent. But, yeah, two truths can be true. And that's just it. It's facts and it's scary facts. Yes.
Larry?
I don't know. I think before I even get into, one of the dangers of the world we live in is we live in a world where ambiguity is weaponized, where you can take this very vague, ambiguous thing, and you invite people into a space where they don't need to go deeper. Because if we go to the theme,
Wait, hold on. Did I give you the context that a man killed his wife?
Yes.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like you say, who's got the power? So the question is, what is power? Is there one type? Because it's only a
Larry
man
has
or
come.
woman.
Larry has come.
This is what we're talking
It's
about.
only a man.
has
No, because one of you, I can't remember who touched on difference. So when you have two different things, and I've said before, I'm sure I've said it to you guys before, that I think there's a difference between equality and uniformity.
Yes.
So you can actually be different, bring different things to the table, but still be of equal value.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas I think a lot of the narrative around equality is striving or stressing uniformity. And I think one of the things it does is it devalues the qualities that are present in each difference.
Yeah.
So differences. So if we accept that men and women are different, we accept that men have strengths and weaknesses, and women have strengths and weaknesses, which may differ, which means that there may be areas where you're better off getting a woman, and there may be areas where you're better off leaning. Now, in the context you're saying, obviously, in terms of physical, even though, yes, there is an increasing narrative that pushes that, even trying to diminish that scientifically supported fact that men are, the fact that they're strong, physically stronger, doesn't make them better. They're just, they're just physically stronger. But there's even a narrative that is even pushing against that basic truth. Because again, when you're stressing equality as uniformity, you then don't want to look as though you're suggesting that women are weak by acknowledging that men are stronger. So it's all those layers. So when you now say who's got the power, now obviously physically, more often than not, and not in every instance, because there are situations where the reverse is true. But more often than not, physically the power will be with the man. But again, that doesn't mean that all the power is with the man. So again,
in the physical sense.
No. I mean,
in
power generally
right. Okay.
is with the man, because that's to presume that it's impossible for a woman to hurt a man in a way that is not painful or whatever. But within the context of that example, absolutely. History, science, everything would support the notion that typically a man is physically stronger. And then if you look at that statement in the frame within the context of that truth, then absolutely, because if you have what's the word, somebody who has the potential to cause you great bodily harm. Now I don't know the details of whether he beat her to death. He shot her. Okay, if it's a gun, she could equally have shot him. She could have poisoned him. She could have, so if it was that he physically beat her to death, then that's when that issue of his manliness comes into play. So even if it's the fact that he shot her, then I think that statement is probably even more responsible than I thought it was, because the manner of the death was not linked to his gender, or to power,
or to his strength. Not necessarily.
No, but did he shoot her? I think he shot her.
But to be fair, even if he didn't, if we change the narrative slightly to say it,
he shot himself as well. After.
Okay.
Okay. Do you know the story? Okay, anyway.
Okay.
That he shot her, then actually the woman could have been, the statement could be reversed.
Well, that, you see, when I was having this discussion with Lanre before, that was one of the things that he was saying. That we could actually say you are only as strong as the woman in your life allows you to be.
Yeah. So for me, that statement, if
you like that, no one want to like that.
That actually made me kind of happy. Not that I'm all about equality and all of that stuff, but I just like I can have power. Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, I'm not even sure who told you didn't.
I think we do.
No, I know, like.
But I think in this situation,
but I think I was just really thinking about the physical. To be fair, and my husband's 6'4", and he's
and that's why I'm saying
so. I guess that's my context.
And that's what I mean by weaponized ambiguity. Because if you just say man kill woman, safe as the assumption is that he used his physical advantage,
which was what I assumed.
Whereas if the mode by which he killed her had nothing to do with that, then why does that come into play?
But I guess also it's that thing. I think it was you I was having a discussion with, where we were saying that you go into relationships and you expect to be safe.
Yes.
So it's not even a necessarily
on both sides.
On both sides.
Yes.
It's not even necessarily a physical safety.
Yes.
It's an emotional safety.
Yes.
It's a total safety.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
I feel much better about that statement. I'm sorry, you were saying sorry.
Wona didn't want
So
to.
shallow,
She didn't want to
honestly.
be on this one. She
I
said
really
she
didn't,
like-
because that whole statement was just a mind-blowing, annoying thing for me. But I feel, not that I'm thinking of anything negative, but I was just saying sorry. So as you were saying,
you're encouraged by the fact that you could equally.
yes,
Absolutely,
absolutely,
no, but so I think
100%.
that sometimes when you think safety, because I think safety is is more than just the physical, but we do
Yes.
tend to think of it. And in this particular, I mean,
Because
I'm
in this
using
particular
that
situation,
statement
somebody
to
died.
start the
So,
conversation.
yeah.
It's not so much that
It's not a conversation about the statement.
about that,
about the scenario.
About the scenario.
Yes, absolutely.
But it did make me, it hit me when I heard
Yeah.
the statement. I thought, am I really only as safe? And then I started putting other words in. Am I really only as confident as the man in my
And you see,
life?
it's that. That's why I said that. That's why I said when you have to go deeper, because
I
then
really only
what
as-
bit is actually what bit does the responsibility fall on him,
Yeah.
and what area does the responsibility fall on you as an individual? Because when you now start to layer it that way, that's when you now start to ask those questions. Because physical safety, 100%. Absolutely. I mean, as you said, your husband is 6'4". You know, I wouldn't expect him to say, "Okay, babes, you know, you handle this, burglar that it's kind of, you know, I'll take care of the kids."
Yeah,
that kind of thing, you know. I wouldn't expect that because,
Yeah.
and it doesn't even mean that your husband is like an MMA fighter or anything.
Right,
it's
right.
just like
Yeah, just
as well as
by
you
virtue
know,
of the fact that
by
he's
virtue of
6'4", I'm
6'4",
5'6".
Yeah, you know,
already.
so there is that element of it. But when you're actually going beyond that and asking the question, who has the power? That's why I said that context. In what context? Because a man can say domestically he ain't got the power.
Yeah.
Domestically he has. I mean, for me, even something as simple as going to the shops. You know, if I go to the wrong shop, I come with the same product. But at that
And you
shop,
get
it
into
costs
trouble.
£1.39 more, and it's kind of like I'm like, hey,
And your wife
success.
is like,
I'm
like,
yeah, why would you have
like,
gone to?
have you ever seen this thing in our house?
Exactly.
Yes,
They
yes.
don't have a club card, or they don't have this. They don't have a point system, or the money, and it's kind
That
of so.
makes total sense,
So
yeah.
in that kind of dynamic,
Yeah.
the power definitely isn't
Yeah.
isn't with the man. Even in terms of, I mean, this is generalizing, but historically, with regard, and I'm not talking about taking care of the children, just somebody having a holistic, longer term view
Yeah, that's
of the
us.
children's well-being.
Of anybody's well-being. That's
Yes.
us.
So the power usually,
Yeah.
historically,
Yes.
you
I think
will
in my
find.
house is my husband, but
No. You will.
I'm an anomaly.
You will find. No, I think similarly. I'm possibly more hands-on,
Yeah.
but you will find historic. So that's why I said that when you're asking that question, who has the power? Context, and that's why I said I find it a little bit irresponsible because. and
of the
in this-
person that said it.
No, not of the person. No. I don't even want to because I don't know what led her to say it. But I'm in the world we live in. at the
And it's
moment.
interesting that it's a woman that said it.
Yes.
Not a man.
Yes.
Because she was probably feeling vulnerable at the
Yes,
time when she
or,
said
or,
it.
or based on
Yeah.
her line of work, she may have.
Yeah.
You know, you can just
You
get
have
further.
inside
I'm tired. I'm
experience.
tired of hearing this
Yeah.
story. I'm tired of hearing this narrative of women who
Yeah,
are suffering
yeah,
under
yeah.
abusive men.
Yeah.
You know, you can just get
They
to
ended
that
up
point
being
that
killed,
it
yes.
might get shoved under you,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
yeah.
what you're processing. So I'm
Yeah.
trying not to come at her. So that's what I'm saying. It's more the environment whereby, as I said, ambiguity can be weaponized, whereby nobody stops to think. Did he actually beat her to death, or did he?
Like, I actually hadn't thought about
Did
that,
he shoot
to
her?
be honest.
You know,
Yes.
so it just now feeds a narrative that, as much as on its own you can say, oh yes, it's because the notion of the statement I have no issue with the notion because it's supported by. It's
The
supported.
circumstances
If
that
my wife
in
and I
which
would
she
get
said
into
it.
a boxing fight, I would put all my money
Yeah.
on me. So
Absolutely.
it's absolute. So it's all that, but it's just beyond that. Deeper than that. Is it in this ambiguous space whereby it's kind of like, oh no, man bad, woman good.
But also,
You know,
I mean, how much
okay,
of it
man,
is how much of it is our, you can make that statement. Okay, let's change it from safe to confident. You're only as confident as the man in your life really lets you be. But how much of that is our responsibility to change? I was on here with one of my friends, Ene, once, and we were talking about how we're both lucky. We were saying, oh, we're really lucky that we have husbands. That's But then we realized that actually we had to prompt somewhat. Do you understand what I mean? That there's a role we have to play in allowing. You know what I mean? So sometimes I think. Well, I don't know. I guess my question is, what responsibility do we have in this thing?
As
So we make this
individuals.
as individuals. So now I'm saying I'm only as confident as the man in my life. But why? Is it that because I'm not taking certain steps to ensure? Do you understand what I
Isn't
mean?
it just affirmation? So if you're affirmed, then you feel a bit better, and you're no better person, or no closer person than your spouse to do that. It's like so I have a 10-year-old, And the more you encourage him, the better he does. So isn't it that kind of thing? So he feels more confident. He plays football. So he feels more confident even if he's played rubbish. You don't play rubbish, really. Even if he's had a rubbish game, But if I say to him, even though he says to me yesterday, Mom, encouragement from you doesn't work. I mean, I wanted to throw him out of the car. I did not. So even if, he's not playing his best, the fact that you say, oh, yeah, that was a good game, doesn't that encouragement sort of give him a little boost? Isn't that the same kind of thing if your husband, who is supposedly, or your spouse, the closest person to you, the one who knows you the most, ideally, or typically maybe, if they give you that boost, that encouragement, doesn't that make you more confident? Isn't that just like a natural human reaction to somebody bigging you up, for lack of anything else to call it?
Lanre?
I think it's icing on cake. Is it the icing? Is it the cake? So my point is, can someone reinforce and endorse what already is, or is the person supposed to be the one
exactly.
who builds it? So, do I have a responsibility to self-love, right? Which would then, so being the vehicle through whom I get those things, which is then supported and supplemented by somebody else. Because I was having this conversation that...
So wait, sorry. Yeah. Just not to cut you off. So if you don't already self-love, whatever somebody else says does not matter.
No, I'm not saying that it's an unrealistic expectation to put on somebody else to do the bit that you are supposed to do.
Yeah,
because
but even
they also have
saying
to do that bit for themselves as well.
Yeah,
as
but even saying that, I agree with that. But I'm saying that typically, if you don't already have self-love and someone is trying to encourage you, it doesn't translate because you're not already feeling
it's harder to.
It will help, but it's not
help.
going to. I think it's that thing where you can tell me that I'm beautiful to kingdom come. If I don't think I'm beautiful, it's not going to. You know what I mean? So I think there's an element we have to.
But you'll probably still feel nice hearing it.
Yes, exactly.
It's now whether or not you're able to take that beyond the it feels nice to actually.
So where are you taking it to?
To actually
it's
believe
true.
in that. Actually, I am
It's true.
beautiful.
I actually am, it's true. So if someone says to you, I'm beautiful, you go, well, thank you very much. That made me feel nice. Yeah, but you're probably saying it because.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's like I've dismissed the very thing I could have taken to.
Yeah. But people do that. They'll say it just because.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And so that's why if you don't have, so that's why it
That's why
doesn't necessarily
the cake
work.
or the icing.
Right.
Icing makes cake go down a whole lot different, but nobody just makes icing and then sits down. You could eat the cake on its own,
right.
But the icing gives it an extra zhuzh.
Yes.
So that's why I'm saying, is it the icing or the cake? Because now, so is it you're not, I think you're, in a way, and this is unzipped, right?
Yes.
you're as confident as you allow yourself to be. You're as confident as the circumstances allow you to be. You're as confident as the spaces you occupy. So it's a whole mishmash of things, but it comes to a point where, obviously, I have a 4-year-old son. He is at the mercy of our parenting. Yeah. He's at the mercy of our
All
parenting.
things.
So we get it right, he benefits. We get it wrong, God will have to help him.
Yeah.
But he's going to get to a stage whereby he can't play that card as his trump card. And he's going to look at his point and say, okay, this is where and I always say this thing, when you look back and say,
the good is done.
I know, but here's the thing. This is what I always say. I always say that I think sometimes we spend too much time in reflection, especially when the reflection has given us the information that we need. So, for instance, okay, if I look back and I say...
That's actually a really profound statement, what you just said. And I know somebody that spends a lot of time in reflection, and it goes nowhere good. Yeah. So, that statement, in fact, I'm going to...
And they're just rehashing it, because here's... Okay, let's say you're my mom, and you disappointed me. So, I know that my hurt comes from the fact that my mom didn't do what... But my mom, I can't go back to that stage where my mom gets to, so at least I've identified where the gap is. So, the question now becomes... She's over there. What do I need to do?
At some point, you have to take responsibility for your own life. Yeah,
and that's why I said that. So that's why I said that. Is it the icing on the cake? So at what point do you actually start to say, okay, my husband didn't, but was it his? Because I think I was saying to a couple that when you expect what we've spoken about in the past about expectations. So a woman expects that even if everybody else in the world thinks she's a 2. Now, there's one person
that she's 11
out of 10. Whenever her husband's voice echoes what everybody else says, it really has the ability. So I'm not sitting down saying that a man doesn't have a huge part to play in building or helping her confidence, either building or helping her confidence stay at a high level. Absolutely, a man has a big part to play in that. But it's just to establish that it's not his sole or exclusive responsibility. Because even what he gives her, she's the one who has to go run with it.
Yeah.
Because or otherwise, it's going to be, you haven't told me I'm beautiful for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You haven't told me I'm beautiful. You only told me twice this week. It's going to be like,
It sound like they're nagging. I was watching a show where a girl said, "Oh, you didn't tell me you love me today," and she said it like 10 times. The guy goes, "I'm just going out."
Yeah. But it's funny because there's that thing also about you can have, so let me use my experience. I can have 20 people tell me that I'm beautiful, but it's you I want to hear it from.
Yeah.
Right.
So these 20 people can tell me. And yes, I get it, I hear it, but it doesn't, because you're not the one I want to hear it
I
from.
mean, that helps me.
no, you will accept it. That's
Fully, 100%.
I'm not saying I don't accept it. I'm just saying when you want it from a particular person and you don't get it from that person, you still want it from that person.
She'll lean on the other 17 that told her she'll be all right.
What I got.
She'll be all right.
What I got. I gotta go with that. So,
But it's actually because, and it doesn't get spoken about as much, but guys do grow up with similar issues in terms of their perception of self.
No, they
do.
do.
Oh, yeah, perception of self. Perception
they
of self.
hide it really
And
well.
no, but we don't give them the opportunity. We don't give them the opportunity not
What
to.
does the opportunity look like? Is we create the opportunities for ourselves?
No, but we're not.
Get it worded. First of all,
Listen, if anybody in this life does not have a problem with getting the word in his Lanre, so guys don't even listen to it, because Lanre will make himself.
Nobody is going to go around necessarily saying,
I'm here for you. Let me listen to what you have to say. Do you have any baggage?
Guys are historically taught get over yourself and get over it. So that's why a lot of mental health issues with guys are really cropping up, because the traditional method has been don't sort it, don't deal with it, don't get it fixed, don't get it addressed, get over yourself.
Right.
So you crying, men don't cry.
Exactly. So that's the narrative. So they find a way to bottle it, and then it actually comes out in a different way. So usually when men act out, they're usually acting out against something that is an unresolved. The little boy inside them is still crying out.
It's usually some little thing
And
that triggers it, but it's a build up of a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm saying this to somebody in particular, and I really hope you're watching this. But don't let things build up.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So it also applies on that. So a wife or a significant other, a spouse, also has a part to play in helping, and it could be if his identity is attached to his job, if it's attached to his ability to provide for his wider family, if it's attached to his ability to perform at a high level. I'm not saying it should be, but I'm saying if it is. Now, suddenly the wife, the partner is positioned to be an ally and an asset in that moment. So it works both ways. Whereby I'm not saying that it's the wife's responsibility to make sure that he knows he's a man and he knows he's this, but the same way that, him telling her she's beautiful and she's this, and, when she walks into the room, he loses his train of thought. As great as that is, there's also...
I need to tell Wale that. He hasn't said that.
there's also an affirmation for the guy, particularly in those...
So what does yours look? What's your affirmation look like?
So as I said, because a lot of... So, they say men are doers. So, men like... Because well done is an acknowledgement of a job well done. Right. So that's why we like appreciation. Because well done indicates that the actions were successful.
Right, okay.
So that's why we like appreciation. We like what they call respect, because it's just an acknowledgement that the thing you exist for,
you have done it well.
So the absence...
It's actually that simple.
It's that simple. So the absence of that is to suggest that I didn't do what I'm doing well.
That's such simple beauty.
So, we really are.
So, and I didn't even mean that negatively.
Yes.
They really are very simple.
And so, because we're brought up with the notion that we're supposed to make things happen, make things work, make things, be as they ought to be, and then, so that all that well done is, or I believe in you, or I know you can, all those things affirm that notion of self, that the thing I exist for, I can. Even in a period where the evidence is contrary to that. Because the same way you're saying for a woman that you want, that man has to be the one person that a man wants to hear, I know you can. I believe you can. I'm rooting for you.
His spouse or his mother?
His spouse.
For sure.
His spouse.
His spouse.
His spouse.
Listen.
His spouse.
Well, maybe his mother before he
became
was married, but yeah, his.
Also, there's also again, this is unzipped, right? There's also the instance when his mother does it very well, and his
the
wife
wife
doesn't, and the wife
Right,
may feel that because the mother does it,
She doesn't
I
want to
don't
give.
need, or I can't compete, and so because he's looking for it, so it's not about him choosing. It's not necessarily about him choosing his mother.
He's
over
just
his
choosing
wife.
the place
he's choosing the place where he's going to get
where
the
to get
thing
affirmed.
that he's
Ladies always
looking
affirm
for.
the men.
You
It's
know?
very simple.
And-
It's
and-
not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Because they do things that really.
Well, they do, and I don't think we are under any illusion that we're going to drop the ball. But even in those moments, the thing we're hoping to still hear is, this doesn't shape the way I see you. So you are not defined by this
your
moment.
actions, yeah.
No, not by your
No,
actions,
but
by
by
this
your-
moment.
yeah.
Because your
You're
actions
not your
can be wrong.
mistakes.
Yes, you are not your mistake. So it's a two-way. It's a complement, and that's why the relationship is supposed to be complementary. So you should have a man always. What's the thing that matters most? You know, what does security look like to a woman? What does security look like to a man?
Yeah.
You know, and just because the challenge that, you know, I said on one of the earlier shows, we project. So, you know, sometimes as a woman you may give to your husband the thing you are looking for,
Yeah.
and as a man you may end up giving to your wife what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And what you're looking for isn't what they need. And you know, finding that balance is okay. We're both getting what we need, and we're
Is
getting
that
from the other
36 seconds?
35.
I'm 20 years
33,
in and I'm still
32.
learning this lesson.
That's-
Yeah.
Guys, we have like 20 seconds. I knew I shouldn't have brought Wonu into this. To just
Just derail the whole thing.
no.
Because,
You
but
know I love
genuinely,
her.
that you know, I'm powerful as well. Actually, really made me feel powerful.
You see,
Yeah.
so it always pays you to come on.
Always.
Even though you
It's a therapy
complain and
session.
you whatever. Anyway, let us know what you think. Do follow us on YouTube if you aren't already, and if you aren't already, I just don't understand why. But see you next time.
Yeah. And please don't come.